Hope you all had a good lunch and had fun with the sessions this morning. I'd like to welcome you to Better Living and Working with CHM. Our presenter this afternoon is Katie Frederick. Katie is a digital content manager for Vision Aware, sorry, you have to bear with me here, which is a part of the American Printing House for the Blind. In this role, she works with colleagues, creating and promoting content for individuals and families impacted by blindness or vision loss. Previously, Katie worked as an accounting technician, sorry. And, well, that was horrible. Okay, I do much better when I'm off, just go off the cuff, but you know. All right. And so with that, please introduce a nice little round of applause for Katie Frederick.
Right there. All right. Thank you, Corey, and good afternoon, everyone. How was lunch? Did you all enjoy it? It was great, wasn't it? Nice to get outside. For me, I hadn't left the hotel yesterday, so it was good to get out, pardon me, and stretch my legs. So I want to thank the organizers of the conference for having me here today, and I am pleased to talk about the American Printing House for the Blind, and in particular our Connect Center, which is where I work. And I will be sharing some information about the resources that we offer throughout this presentation. So, if I can just get some audience participation by clapping. How many of you have heard of the American Printing House for the Blind? Okay. How many of you have heard of our Connect Center? All right, I have some work to do. So, with that, I will go ahead and start and just say on this first slide here up on the screen, we have just welcome and the APH Connect Center. On the next slide is our mission. So the mission of the Connect Center is we are empowering people toward greater independence and lifelong success by providing curated information and resources to assist children, parents, job seekers, adults, and older people who are blind or visually impaired. So, on the next slide, what exactly is the APH Connect Center? We are comprised of websites, resources, and webinars. Next slide is our team, and we are a growing team. Most of us, including I joined the team in October of 2021, so I am new as well, and I think the person on our team who's been there the longest is our boss, who's been there since about 2020. So we are a new team. The American Printing House for the Blind had the Connect Center became a part of the American Printing House for the Blind in about 2018. Prior to that, the programs were housed at the American Foundation for the Blind, which is more of a policy and research organization. But the Connect Center programs were then shifted to the American Printing House for the Blind, which deals more in the education and product space. So we now have the Resource Center. So on this slide, again, is a picture of our team. So we have Sharon Huey and Alan Lovell, and they are our information and referral line specialists. They are individuals who are totally blind as well, so when you call our INR line, you'll speak to them, and they not only provide resources and assistance, but they also have that real-world experience. And for those in the audience, I'm also blind as well, so when Corey was introducing me, yes, we did have the blind person shuffle up here. So, next we have our Dr. Olaya Villard, and she is my boss. She's our director of the Connect Center. She had planned to be here, but wasn't able to make it due to a family emergency. So she directs everything, and my colleague Richard Retta is in charge of our Career Connect portion of the Connect Center, and that section is geared for job seekers and those looking for work. So we'll get into that in greater detail later on in the presentation. My colleague Chris Rogers works with me on Vision Aware, which is our website geared toward adults, seniors, and professionals who work with them who are blind or low vision. And then there's someone named Katie Frederick on this slide as well. That's me. And then our digital media manager is Tony Susnick, who works on putting up our content on social media. So next slide, talking a little bit about Vision Aware. And that is, again, as I said, our site that focuses on the needs of adults and seniors who are adjusting to blindness or low vision, as well as the professionals who serve them. So on this slide, we have our Vision Aware homepage, which you can find at visionaware.org or off of our main aphconnectcenter.org website. And on the Vision Aware homepage, we have things broken down into different categories. So we have things like, after the diagnosis, what to do after an eye exam. What is an eye exam? When should I get one? What's involved? We also have things on our site, sections about, living with vision loss, adjusting to vision loss, accepting vision loss. Much of our content on the Vision Aware site is created by a group of volunteer peer advisors who are professionals as well as individuals who are blind or low vision. So again, they not only have their professional experience to draw from, but also that personal experience of being blind or low vision themselves. So they create the majority of our content. We have a video that you can watch on Vision Aware that kind of introduces all of the facets of the site that we have up there as well. So that's a great overview of our homepage. We have our blogs up there as well, and our other sections such as diabetes and living with different eye conditions sections as well. So the next slide, just highlighting some more resources that are offered on Vision Aware. We have our Getting Started Guide 2020, and that's a guide for people new to vision loss, and we did hand out some of those here in the room, so feel free to take those with you. Those are in English and Spanish, and we have some more at my booth, so if you want more, we can get you more to take home, or if that's not possible, the guide is available on our website in an accessible PDF, and last but not least, we can also email you a copy or mail you hard copies of the guide if you like, or get it to you in email as well. So that's our Getting Started Guide. Again, that's generously funded from the Reader's Digest Foundation, and that really is a great resource booklet for those who are adjusting to vision loss. So that's great if you work in an agency serving people who are blind or low vision, or are just a person wanting some more resources. So do feel free to check that out. And again, we have our guide for families and friends. We have our support groups, and on our website, we have a section that's dedicated to support groups. And if you are a member of a support group and don't see it on the site, feel free to reach out to me, and we can make sure that that's added. But we have several support groups on the site that are there, again, to help people who are adjusting to blindness or low vision. And these support groups really are invaluable for people, and we've had many people go to them and say, wow, it's just great to talk about, as I'm sure many of you can relate to here at this conference, it's just great to be in a room with people that get it, right? You don't have to explain, you don't have to say I'm sorry, you don't have to do all these things, everyone gets it. So that's one of the benefits of the support groups, and many of them now, because of COVID, are virtual, so you don't need to, they're not necessarily tied to a geographic location for those. So we have, again, our About Vision Aware video, which I briefly touched on earlier, and that's kind of a video overview of the different sections of our site. We have our diabetes education program and our diabetes section on the website, which again was recently updated. We added some tips, and this information is also available in Spanish and English as well. So if living with diabetes and managing that is something that you want to learn more about as a person who is blind or low vision, do feel free to check that out on our website as well. And of course, we have our blogs, and the blogs really cover a gamut of topics. We have, blogs on. We just published a post recently about, what are some good tips and tricks to navigating a cookout or a summer gathering when you're blind or low vision? How can you make that a little bit easier? We have tips on what resources might be available at your local public library that you didn't know about if you're blind or low vision. And just all kinds of great blog topics, again, written from that personal experience, peer perspective. And then we mentioned some of our webinars here, things like managing your blood sugar, as well as we have some, again, a lot of blogs that talk about some technology. So we're also working on updating that section as well. We have our personal stories section, which talks about, again, people's experiences living with vision loss and adjusting to that. I next want to go on to our next slide, which is the homepage for Family Connect. And Family Connect, again, is another program of the Connect Center. And as you might have guessed, it's for families. So that is for, parents, children, anyone in the family who may be living with a person who is blind or low vision. So again, on the slide here, we have a screenshot of the homepage of Family Connect. And similar to our other sites, this homepage consists of blogs and, one of the things that we do for parents and families is really talk about, what to do if my child has just been diagnosed as blind. Now what? What happens? Because I think for, children and adults, right, you go to the doctor and they say, well, there's nothing more that we can do. And what that means is there's nothing more medically that can be done. But that in no way means that life is over. So, how do we are here to provide the resources for carrying on after that diagnosis. So we have tips for parents about, navigating the IEP system. What is an IEP? How do I, ask questions? What is that? How do I best advocate for my child? Things like that. Some of the Family Connect resources here on the next slide. We have our parent advisory program, which works with our parents. We also have our parent support group, and that is a partnership with the Chicago Lighthouse for the Blind, a great organization that we're pleased to partner with. And this is a group that meets the first Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And it's really a group, again, for parents to come together to share successes, to share stories, to share support. Because again, that support piece is critical for, when you're dealing with a child or someone in your family that may be blind or low vision. It's just critical to have that extra support to lean on and to learn from. We also have our webinars on our Family Connect site as well. And again, those cover all kinds of topics. We're currently doing a series right now on some different, outdoor adventures, just all kinds of topics on our webinars. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. But our webinars are always free. And if you cannot attend one live, you can catch the recording. So we do record them and make them available on our YouTube channel as well. And much like Vision Aware, we have our blogs and articles. So we have some, things on transition, preparing your student for success in the computer coding field, camping with your child who's blind or visually impaired, help, what can I do with, summer free time, right? Now what? So again, really just a collection of perspectives from parents and families. And we also have videos and personal stories from families on the Family Connect website as well. The next program that I want to talk a little bit about is Career Connect. Wonder what that could be for. So, Career Connect is our site for job seekers and those who are looking for work. So, again, whether you are a transition age youth or have, again, recently, maybe you've had a vision change or vision loss later in life, and you're wondering, what can I do now? Can I still work? Are there jobs that I can do? How can I get the necessary accommodations I need for those jobs? You can find information about this on our Career Connect program in the Connect Center. So again, on this slide, we have our landing page, homepage for Career Connect. And again, similarly to the other sites, we have our articles and blogs and links to stories, and all of that information is on the main page of Career Connect. Some of the resources on the next slide here that Career Connect offers is we have our Job Seekers Toolkit, and this is currently a product that is in an accessible PDF format, but we are working to put this into a learning management system so that individuals and vocational rehabilitation counselors can go through it module by module, but right now it is in the PDF format. It is very popular, very accessible, very user-friendly, but we want to modernize that and make that more accessible and user-friendly to our audience. So that is a project that we are undertaking within Career Connect. But again, the Job Seekers Toolkit is really to go through with a professional. It has individual sections in it as well as those for the professionals. So again, talking about interviewing, talking about working, and all of those things are covered in the Job Seekers Toolkit. We have our National Transition Conversation, and that is a quarterly event where we meet with programs all around the country and hear about what they are doing in the form of transition programs for youth who are ages 14 to 21, and they share all about what they are doing in their programs, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in the next later slide. Again, here we have our blogs and articles. So topics on Career Connect include, juggling the college experience. We have our cultural inclusion at the transition table, gearing up for success, exploring career possibilities with vocational rehabilitation services, videos, and success stories as well. So one of those is one of the videos on our Career Connect features someone I know and consider a good friend, Russell Schaefer, who works at Walmart. He has, I believe, retinitis pigmentosa, and he kind of shares his journey about how he got to where he is today. We also have, on the next slide here, we're going to talk a little bit about our Transition Hub, and that is made possible through the Perkins School and Vision Serve Alliance and AER. A lot of folks contribute to that. But essentially, the Transition Hub consists of nationwide transition agencies who provide programming for transition age youth. And again, so that's youth ages 14 to 21, and that, you can go anywhere in the country and learn about that, get that specific training if you're in that category. So that's a really good resource as well. Next, we have our social media here. We have our Career Connect. We have a Facebook page for Career Connect, and our Twitter is the APH Connect Center, and our YouTube channel as well is on this slide. So next, we have some additional Connect Center resources. So again, we are more than just websites, believe it or not. So we have here on our aphconnectcenter.org/webinars page, you can learn about our upcoming webinars that we have coming up over the summer. And we don't have a lot this summer because many of us on the team are conferencing, and traveling. But we do have some new content coming out. And we also have on the connectcenter.org webinar page, that is where you can also find, again, archives and handouts from our past webinars. So if you miss something or read about something on one of the sites and think that sounds like an interesting webinar, do feel free to check those out. We've had some really good ones over the past several months. So one of the ones that we do each year is our gift giving guide, and that covers all kinds of gifts that are specifically geared for people who are blind or low vision. So different gift ideas for people in your life who may be blind or low vision. We have our Connect calendar, and this is a calendar on the Connect Center website where you can submit events and or learn about events happening for the community. So again, it's a free resource that lists events that may be of interest to the wide blind or low vision community. That's on our Connect calendar, and you can also, as I said, submit an event to publish on the calendar as well. We do that all for free. So that is a resource available. Our directory of services is another great resource that we offer, and that resource is where if you live in a state and you're just not sure where to go to get services, check out our directory of services. We have listings for different services across the country, and you can access the directory of services from any of our sites, and it's just a great resource to learn about what's available in your area as well. All right, on the next slide, we have our APH information and referral hotline. And again, I talked about my colleagues, Alan and Sharon, who are blind, who run that right now. They do an excellent job, and they're always willing to spend, talk to you, answer your questions, share resources with you. You can reach them by calling 800-232-5463. And that's in the US and Canada. And our information line is staffed Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we are there all day and happy to take your call. If you prefer, you can also email them at connectcenter, all one word, at aph.org. And again, I highlight our directory of services here, which has over 2,000 profiles of agencies and serving people who are blind or low vision.
I'm sorry, could you read the phone number again?
Absolutely, I will read the phone number again for the INR line. That phone number is 1-800-232-5463. Yes, 5463.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, and again, we have our partners here, the Chicago Lighthouse for the Blind, which help us with our parent support group, and we are grateful for that partnership. We have our College Success at Perkins, which provides our funding and support for our transition hub that we offer. And we have our work hotline for families that we offer. Vision Serve Alliance, which is a great organization representing agencies who serve the blind as well. and the Older Individuals Who Are Blind program that represents programs around the country who serve older individuals. The Helen Keller National Center is one of our great partners, and they do a lot of work around deaf blindness. And the Education for the Education and Rehabilitation of the Blind or Visually Impaired, AER. That is a national organization representing those in the field of blindness and low vision. So we have some other partners here, and then on our next slide we have some videos, but I'm not going to try to play those today, but they are on our website, and again they really highlight just successful people who are blind doing a lot of different careers and kind of sharing their experiences. Again, and we do have on the PowerPoint, which I uploaded, and I can also email you a copy if you prefer. We do have the link to our YouTube playlist here on this slide where you can find our videos. So I want to say thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure to talk to you today and to share resources about the Connect Center. Again, you can find us at APH Connect Center, all one word, .org. You can email us, connectcenter@aph.org. You can follow us. Our Facebook we have one for each of the sites. So Facebook is at Family Connect. At CC for Job Seekers is Career Connect, and at Vision Aware on Facebook is where you can find our Vision Aware content. And if you're on Twitter, you can just follow APH Connect Center and you'll get all of our good stuff on Twitter that way. And again, our YouTube that I also mentioned earlier with our playlist. But I want to again thank the conference organizers for having us here today, and thank you for allowing me to come and talk to you about the Connect Center, and I'm happy to take questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
When you mentioned the support groups, now do you list like individuals, like we have a support group on Facebook for people with Cory Reed. Would that be included as part of the listing?
If it's not, it certainly can be. If you get me the information, we will happily put it up there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was like if you also listed disease specific.
I do know we have a blog on choroideremia, and I apologize, I cannot say the name of it.
CHM.
Oh, CHM, okay, I can do that. Yes, we do have a blog entry about the topic, and so, but we are indeed happy to share any additional resources. That's what we want to be here. We're here to share and support resources that you have. So if there is a resource that, if you look at the site and think, wow, I don't see, X on there or something, do feel free to share. We are always happy to add that to our site.
I'll take a look later.
What is American Publishing House?
So the question was, what is the American Printing House for the Blind? So the American Printing House for the Blind was established in the 1800s. It was actually established through an act of Congress to produce accessible materials for people who are blind or low vision. So that is the main mission of APH, is to provide educational products and services throughout the lifespan. So we do that. The APH company sells, we do produce Braille and large print materials for K-12 school systems, and that includes textbooks and other materials for schools. And we also produce some materials. We, for example, produce business cards in Braille and other materials. At our booth, we have some bookmarks that talk about our Connect Center, and those have Braille and print on them as well. So we make other materials such as those in the APH program. But we also sell products at the American Printing House for the Blind, and those include devices like I'm currently using a braille display called the Mantis, and that is a computer style keyboard on it with 40 cells of refreshable braille underneath the keyboard. So that's a product that we sell at the American Printing House for the Blind, and we also sell another 20 cell refreshable braille display, as well as some magnifiers and items like that. We have at my booth in the exhibit hall, I do have a couple of product catalogs left that people can take. You can take with you if you wish, or you can always find them online at aph.org, and that is where you can read about all of the great products that we sell at the American Printing House for the Blind. I think there are over 200, so I don't know them all, but we do have quite a range of products, again, covering not only education, but for adults as well. Any other questions?
I have one.
Yes.
Versions of the Bible in Braille, are those available? And I'm not sure, I understand there's 2 levels of Braille, and the more basic level of Braille. Do you know if something like that is available?
So the question is asking about versions of the Bible that might be available in Braille, and asking about the variations of Braille. So within the Braille code, there is what is called uncontracted, which is the more basic Braille, and that's typically what someone learns to read first when they're learning Braille. It's where every word is written out, letter by letter, and that is called uncontracted Braille. There is a more advanced, shall we say, or shorter form of Braille called contracted Braille, and that is where certain words are contracted or shortened to theoretically make Braille take up less space. So typically what I tell people is that 1 page of print is at least 2 pages of Braille. So and that's typically with it written in the shorter contracted form. So again, it does help save some space within the Braille code to contract the Braille. As far as the Braille Bible, I do not believe APH sells one of those, but again, you could find that through possibly somewhere like the National Library Service for the blind and print disabled. That's a free program through the Library of Congress. So for anyone who may have difficulty reading print, or even holding a book, turning a page, the Library for the Blind is a free resource, again, that does offer materials in audio format, as well as some Braille and large print. Any other questions? Well, again, I want to thank you for coming, and do feel free to stop by the booth. I have a table here in the exhibit hall, so happy to chat with anyone who might have some questions as you think of them. And again, thank you very much to you for coming, and to CHM for having us today.